Here it is, a groove slightly transformed. Just a bit of a break from the norm. Just a little something to break the monotony of all that hardcore dance that has gotten to be a little bit out of control. It's cool to dance, but what about a groove that soothes and moves romance? Give me a soft, subtle mix. And if it ain't broke, then don't try to fix it. And think of the summers of the past. Adjust the bass and let the alpine blast. Pop in my CD and let me run around and put your car on cruise and lay back, cause it's summertime. School is out and it's sort of a buzz. But back
Hi, ladies. We're gonna start like in 2 to 3 minutes.
real fine, fresh from the barbershop, live in the beauty salon. Every moment frontin' and maxin', chillin' in the car, they spend all day waxing, leaning to the side, but you can't speed through 2 miles an hour, so everybody sees you. There's an air of love and of happiness, and this is the Fresh Prince's new definition of summer madness.
Hi, ladies. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for joining. Welcome to A Moment for Mom. ZoomCast Wind on Wednesdays. I'm your host, Naira Sanchez. So before we start, since I'm recording this and putting this on YouTube, I just want to add a disclaimer. This is a judgment-free zone, judgment-free space, where everybody's here, and I want everybody to feel comfortable, feel not judged, feel that they're in a space where we have common things that we go through without feeling guilty after expressing ourselves and after sharing what we go through in our journey. Also, please be mindful when you guys are responding, just because, you know, obviously we all would like, as much as I would love to be here for hours and hours, we obviously can't. And since, you know, this is like an open format and it's a couple of us, this gives everybody a chance to kind of respond and have input on the topic. So with that being said, today's topic is finding myself after kids. Obviously, this is a very important topic, which is why I chose it. It's a topic that I've actually wanted to touch on for some time, because I've struggled with it. I'm sure most of us have struggled with it. Can you guys hear me? Does the sound good? Because I can't, my background noise is super high. Can somebody speak just to make sure that I can hear you guys?
Hello, hello.
Hello,
Okay.
hello.
Okay, got it. So as I was saying, finding myself after kids, I was actually Googling what that's like, and postpartum identity crisis came up on Google, which the definition is loss of identity after having a baby means you have lost the sense of the person you were before the birth of your child. And I'm almost, well, I'm not gonna speak for anyone else. I'll speak for myself. That definitely happened to me. And I think it's something very important for us to talk about. And, you know, we'll realize that we're all like in the same space when it comes to that. Before I start, I wanted to recite a quote that Will Smith said, and I think it goes hand in hand with the topic today. And he said, the question isn't, can you handle the situation? The question is, can you handle your mind? Can you manage the thoughts and the emotions that are trying to poison your progress? Forget managing the situation, manage your mind. And I think when I heard that, I was just like, it makes so much sense, because obviously finding yourself has everything to do with your mind. What you think about yourself, where you're at in terms of mental and emotional stability with yourself. My first question is, how has the transition been? I can only see two people because everybody's camera's off today. We shy today.
Well, I'll speak since I'm a renewed mom, I guess. Renewed mommy.
Turn off the music,
mean
the background.
Oh yeah. Sorry. You're talking about, you mean like, what is the transition like? How it's been from pregnancy or pre-pregnancy to pregnancy, then postpartum?
No, how's the transition been in trying to find yourself after having Zolani?
So again, it's a challenge for me because I'm re-finding myself again for for a third time. So it's one of those things that is a little bit more difficult because, one, I'm older, and part of growing, not only am I getting older, so it's like a lot of the ways that I used to be, I'm not like that anymore. So it's like having to accept that, and then as far as also becoming a new mom, and then on top of that, all the multiple hats that you have to wear. It's not an easy transition. To be honest, it's not easy. It's and I don't know. I feel like I'm just I don't know. I feel like it's just it's one of those challenges that you go through on your own, and you just don't say anything. You just you go with the flow. If today goes great, great. If tomorrow's a bad day, tomorrow's a bad day. You just keep it moving, I guess, you know?
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. The follow-up question to that was, is it easy? I think transitions are hard, especially
No.
especially when you become a mother. Transitioning from not being a mom to being 100% independent, getting up and going, doing whatever you want, sleeping whenever you want to sleep, only worrying about yourself, to, oh wait, I have a baby now that I gotta take care of. I have another baby I have to take, you know, so it's like the transition it's difficult. It's difficult. Anybody else? Before I go to my next question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
Hold on, I'm just adding someone in the room. The next question is, what are some of the things you have felt with like emotionally that you felt within the transition? For example, I'm gonna give an example because just so you guys know what I'm talking about. For me, going from having one child to, well, I'll even go back to when I had Eli. Going from being 100% just me, everything about me, and like, you know, David, to then adding a child to the equation, it was like it was like I don't know if it's because it's your first child, and at least for me, you know, since I struggled with infertility, I was like super happy to have him, but I also was like scared. And then, you know, having to understand that I can't move like I used to move. Like, okay, I'm just gonna get up and go. Now you have to kind of like plan everything, and you need to give yourself time, and you're not gonna be on time all the time. You're just not. Because me trying to make it to places on time back then when Elijah was younger, or even the twins, was meaning me being stressed, because instead of me trying to focus on like the needs of my child and me, I was like, oh my God, I gotta be on time. I want to be, you know, because you don't want people to label you as, oh, look at this new mom. She's, you know what I'm saying? So like all that stuff. Fast forward to like when I had the twins, I just said to myself, I'm not gonna be on time. That's okay, because I'm dealing with 3 children. And it's hard. So that's what I'm saying. My phone keeps locking. What are some of the things that you felt within the transition? That's my question. Anyway.
So for me, I felt a little extra resentful towards my partner because I felt like his world didn't flip completely upside down like mine did. And I don't know, maybe that's a little selfish of me, but I just felt like, you know, the change for him was nothing compared to mine. And, you know, I've never told him this because of course, I don't want to minimize his experience, right? But that I struggled with for some time. I'm doing better with that now, but in the beginning, it was kind of like, you know, he was still getting up to go to the gym, and I was at home with a baby, and I'm just kind of like, what's going on here? Like, why am I suddenly in this role like 24/7? Like, it never stops, but you get to take your breaks because you get to go to the gym, you get to go to work, whatever. And this was all while I was on maternity leave. And you know, when you're on maternity leave, is you and the baby all day long. So I struggled with that. And also, I was a little ashamed to say this before, not so much now, but I also felt a little bit of resentment towards my girls, not in a like I regret them kind of way, but more like, damn, like what you were saying, I can't just get up and go anymore. Like literally everything that I do, every decision that I make has to revolve around you two. Like I can't make a decision without factoring you guys in. So that was a little rough for me in the beginning. Now, you know, I'm used to it because it's been 3 years since I had my first child. So a little easier, but even so at times, like I'm still like, damn, I really miss just being able to get up and go or make a decision that was only going to affect me and no one else, literally. Right. So that was a big
Yep.
change for me. Yeah.
Yep, I felt the same too. I feel like you deal with that, and then you also deal with the guilt that comes with that, because then you feel guilty for feeling what you're feeling, even though your feelings should be validated. You know what I'm saying? Because they're real feelings.
Yes.
But you also feel guilty for feeling like, oh my God, like me, when I had my twins, I felt like that for a long time, you know, like, and I used to feel so bad because I'm like, as much like I
Yes.
struggled with infertility, and then I had Eli, then I had twins
Me too.
God sent, and it totally shifted my life, like 1,000%, you know, and there was so many feelings that obviously I don't feel that anymore because I'm, you know, my kids are older and I'm in a different place, but there were so many feelings that accompanied that even still now it's hard for me to say it because it's almost like I feel bad and kind of like ashamed, but it's the reality, you know. And like if you, when you speak on it, you realize how many moms have felt that also, you know, so you kind of almost feel like, okay, at least I'm not the only one, you know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
totally get it. Anybody else wants to add?
I'll chime in because again, it's very similar, you know, very relatable. Like for me, I definitely it's not so much. Sorry. For me, it's like, again, Maya is, my oldest is 12 years old, and the baby is, you know, she's about to be 7 months, and it's like to know that I had the time, you know what I mean? Like to find myself, get myself, you know, you kind of create like a what is that called? Like when you have like not like a set schedule in a sense, right? You know, your kid is already old, your routine, right? So like, you know, Maya's old and she's always been independent. So it's like, boom, here you go. Now that Maya's really independent, it's like I gotta start all over again. You understand? And then it's like you have to deal with, okay, not only am I starting all over again, but again, the situation is completely different from my first. I'm in a relationship. You know, it's a very committed relationship. You understand? My partner's involved. So it's like, not only do I have 2 kids, I have 3 kids because I have to think about my daughter, I have to think about the baby, and I have to think about him. And then I think about myself. So it's like, it's so much baggage that comes along that's why I had mentioned in the first podcast that the you know, postpartum is the one thing that nobody talks about. And he's like, these are the things that we need to talk about, like all the hats that come along after you have your baby and everything that falls on your plate. Like I can't tell you that I don't feel resentment when I see my man get up to go to work, because I do, because I'm the type, you can ask my sister, I've always worked. I've never been a person to just be at home, always been working. So for me, yes, I'm grateful that I get to be home with the baby. I'm, you know, very, very, very appreciative. But again, it's a really hard transition. And unfortunately, you gain that resentment towards your partner because you're just like, shit, I wish I could get up and go. I wish I could get up and go, not think about the baby, not think about my daughters, and just bounce.
I think that feeling for me, it doesn't change in certain aspects. For example, I've been home with my twins, obviously, because I'm not gonna pay $500 a week for daycare for my twins. So I've been home. And it's been tough. it's been tough. You know, it's been tough. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it because I've always been so independent. I've always been, you know, making my own money, working, and regardless if your home is one checkbook or two, you're still not producing, right? So for me, if I'm not producing, I'm not being productive. That's how I measure it, right? So for a long time, I was very upset. I was mad, I was mad, and I couldn't pinpoint as to why I was mad until after I dealt with my feelings and I was alone with myself for a while. And I understood I'm upset because I'm trying to still be that person that I used to be, right? And I think that seeing how, David's life hasn't changed. It's still, you get up, you go to work, I'm gonna go to the bar, I'm gonna go to sleep on the couch or whatever. It's it doesn't change. But my life has shifted 1,000%. So you get resentful and you get upset, and it's then you have to kind of accept the reality of what it is, because you can't be upset at your kids. You really can't be upset at the fact that, your man is getting up to go to work, at least in my case. And the decision you made it because that's what makes sense for your family at the time, So my next question is, at what point did you realize that you were no longer you? When did it hit you that you were okay, something's off, this is weird, or you don't feel like yourself anymore? At what point, if you can remember?
Pregnancy.
For me, it was when I knew I was having twins. Once I knew I was having twins, I knew it was over. Everything changes. Everything. Oh my God. Anybody else? Do you guys recall when you knew you're no longer, your life will never be the same, or that was you for X amount of years is no longer that?
I think for me, it was after I had my second child. That was when it solidified for me, right? Because after I had my first, it was me trying to find the balance between all three versions of me, right? The work me, the me, and then the mom me, right? And so I was struggling with that. That first year is rough. But then after I had my second baby, it was kind of that's when it hit me. Yeah, something feels off. And I didn't know right away. It took me a while. Yeah.
Everything is it all comes to a point that you're just oh my God. How difficult was it for you to accept the new version of yourself?
I'm still trying to accept him. I don't know. I feel for example, just for me, I went to go do my eyebrows yesterday and I had to take Jackson and Jada with me. It is what it is. And I told my brow girl, I'm coming with the kiddos. And she's, she's a mom too. So she's yeah, bring the kids, I can see them. But it's there's times where you're just shit, those even if it's 15 minutes, those me moments, sometimes they're gone. And you're just you cannot have to, I don't know, you have to compromise that,
No, exactly what you mean.
If John was available, he would definitely stay, because he'll be yeah, lately I've been expressing a lot. Sometimes it'll be throughout the day, I'll just text him I need this time when I get home, like for me.
Mm-hmm.
And like
Yeah,
he was
of course.
saying, pero if he had like him and Jordan have a lot to do, like extracurricular stuff, like basketball, sports, whatever. So like, you know, he was like, damn, I gotta go. Like I can't, I gotta go. So I had to take him with me. Cause then it's like if I have to reschedule my own personal me moment, it's like I get frustrated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. That's like when I have to do my nails. I'm so used to doing my own nails, and it's like I last weeks without doing my nails because I don't that the moment I sit down to even start filing, she starts crying, she's fussy. And that's just the one day that the one day I want to do my nails, that's the day she wants to fuss. So it's like, well, you know, there's nothing you can do but like you give it up.
I also feel like
Yeah.
as a mom, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong or join me in my feeling if you agree. I feel like when you're a mom, you sacrifice so much, right? And you sacrifice your you time and your self time, which is very important, right? As we're learning, as we going through the motherhood journey, we see how important it is for us to put the motherhood journey on top tier, right? We sacrifice, like for example, if I make an appointment to do my hair, right? At 9 in the morning, and I don't know, something happens and David is gonna stay with the kids because he never has a problem to stay with the kids, but he works. But let's say this day, oh, someone called me, they need an emergency cut, whatever. I have to kind of like reschedule you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I feel like as a mom, you always have to kind of like compromise for obviously, because what other choice do you have? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no other choice. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but I felt like that. And like, Jenny, like you're preaching to the choir. Like, I've had to go do my hair with the twins. I've had to take the twins to an appointment with Elijah, and it sucks because this is the day that they want to act up. They want to act crazy. They want to, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's moments like that you're like, you know, but what can you do? You gotta, you gotta bring your kids with you. And then it's like, oh, I gotta do, if I, God forbid, I go do my hair, my nails at my sister's house. This is the day Maya and Elijah want to argue all day. The twins, they don't know how to act. The baby has a crying attack. Like, it's just, and what can you do? Like, we just continue. She's laughing because it's every single time. And like, I do my nails every 3 weeks, not even every 2 weeks, sometimes every month. And we're like, okay, this day. And it's like, this is the day Maya and Elijah want to act up. And you want to slap them because they're 12. It's like, stop. Then the twins are acting crazy, you know? So it's like, what are you? I'm not gonna not do my nails. Like, we're just gonna have to deal with this circus, and like, it is what it is, you know? What are some of the things that were difficult for you to let go of from the old you to the mom, the mom you?
My sleep time. Because like, sleep deprivation is a real thing that people for some reason don't address. And the type of sleep deprivation that you go through when you become a parent is just out of this world. Like, that was the one thing that nobody could have ever prepared me for. No matter how much they talked to me, no matter how much they explained, I've never been this sleep deprived in my life. And it's just like hurting my soul at this point. Like, there's days where I can't even with my own soul. And I'm just kind of like wondering, like, what is my purpose here? Because this can't be it. Like, this can't be it. It's ghetto. I don't know. This parenting is ghetto. Like, they didn't prepare me for that. Like, there's days where I'm like, can I get a do-over? Because I don't like this. But yeah. The sleep deprivation is clearly.
How old are your girls? How old are they?
One is 3, one is 1.5.
That's what it is.
They wake up at the crack of dawn every day looking for I don't know what. And I'm just like, can you go back to sleep? Like, it's 6 in the morning. Why are you up? And they're on 1,000 from the minute they wake up to bedtime. And I just, yeah, some days are really rough.
You know, for me, like my kids have always been pretty good sleepers, right? Even the twins, like the twins, they don't wake up early. Like they're not gonna be up at 7 in the morning just because they've never been those kids, or Eli. But what I will say is you still are sleep deprived, because at least for me, like when my kids are sleeping, this is the time that I want to take, like if I have the energy, let's just start by that. If I have the energy and I need to mop or sweep, this is the time I'm doing it. Or if I have, if there's something that I have pending, like that work or whatever, just something personal, I want to scroll on Instagram for an hour. That's what I'm doing when my kids are sleeping, and like I have time for myself, for me to like, so it's not like, even if they're not waking up early, you're still sleep deprived, because you still have to, like when they get up, like I have to take them to school. I still have to get up, give them food, get them ready. Like, and I don't know about you, I don't nap. I've never been a napper. I'm not gonna nap. I can't nap. I just can't. It's just not in my nature to just let me go take a nap. Let me sleep while my kids are in school. Like my kids go to school literally. They're in a VPK program and they go in at 8:40, 8:30. I gotta pick them up at 11. That's like the shortest hour of my life, hour and a half. And in that hour, I want to do a million things because I don't have them. So I'm like, okay, let me do this. But then it's like, you can't. So you try to do as much as you can, right? Like I've been needing to mop my house. So today, yesterday into this morning, I mopped because I have to break it up. So for me, the sleep deprivation is that, like I have to take the time that they're sleeping or they're resting for me to do the things that I need to do. Either whether it's for me or my house. You know what I'm saying? Is it freezing? Am I freezing? Can you guys hear me?
It froze for a little bit, but now I can
Okay.
hear you now.
No, all you guys were frozen. So yeah, that's where the sleep deprivation is. I feel like once you become a mom, and I always remember my mom always telling me, tú verás cuando tú seas una mamá, que tú vas a ver bla y bla. And you know, when you're younger, you're like, yeah, whatever, mom. But it's like, now I understand what they say, because they never sleep. You're always worrying. You're always worrying, or you're always doing something for your kids. So yeah, the sleep deprivation is one. But you know what? One of the things that for me, that was difficult for me to let go of, the old me. I feel like I held on to that for so long. I tried to hold on to that the old version of myself for so long, and it made me so unhappy after my twins, right? Because before my twins, I was like singing, I was performing, I was like, living my best life, even though I had Elijah, but I was doing something for me. Then I get pregnant, and it's like you're having twins, so it's like your whole life is halted and everything changed. And I missed that old version of me so much that I was always unhappy. I was so miserable. Even though I didn't seem like I was, but I was very miserable because I kept trying to be that person. And then I remember I had a conversation one time, I don't remember with who it was, and I think it was my cousin, and he said to me, you need to embrace this new season of your life, this new chapter, because it's gonna come with a lot of, like, you may not see it at this moment, but it's gonna come with a lot more good things that you're not allowing in because you're holding on to that old version of you. And after me spending a lot of time by myself here in Florida and just kind of like just going through the motions, it's like I've learned to accept. That's why I always keep saying, once you accept your reality, once you're happy with the way that your home is, the way that your life is, you're just gonna be in a better place because you're understanding, okay, this is my life now. This is what it is. There's nothing I could do about it. I can either be happy and move forward, or I can be unhappy and stay in the same place. So that for me was something that I held on to for a long time. Anybody else?
For me,
I want to. Oh,
Who's talking?
I was gonna
Who's
talk.
talking? Jana, go ahead.
Jana. For me, I'm gonna say, Lena, I agree. When your children are under 5, sleep deprivation is crazy. I remember, being crazy, like just such a, I can't even say it's because my kids are around, such a bee. And I would take a nap and I'd be like, oh, like that's all I needed. But what I was gonna say, because I was just in Florida not too long ago for, like a mini break, and I left my kids with their dad, and just seeing my cousins who don't have kids and the ease of them just caring for yourself. I'm not gonna lie, I was so jealous. I was so jealous of all of them. I remember going to the beach one day, and literally all I did was wake up, throw on my bathing suit, put a towel in the bag, and we were out the door. And I'm like, Dios mío, I've never gotten ready so quickly, and just like that ease of you just worrying about yourself. That's something that I struggle with still, and I have 3 kids. I have a 14-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 4-year-old. If you don't plan, for them to be watched or looked after, tú no te puedes mover. Like, you cannot move. If I don't plan, like what am I gonna do with my kids in the summer? You know what I'm like? It's all up to you, like the responsibility. Not like I'm not trying to minimize, but like I'm the one that has to figure out, like, okay, where are they gonna go? I have to get the application in on time because summer programs fill up really quickly. What daycare they're gonna go? Like I have to figure out everything, and I'm just like, Dios mío, like, just managing, especially when you have multiple children, and the more kids you have to manage, that's just crazy.
Yep.
Sometimes I like yo misma, like I just in my head, like I'm just like this. Like sometimes at night, like when I'm gonna rest, I'm laying in bed and I'm like, oh shit, the dentist appointment. Oh shit, the need physical.
The checklist.
Oh, yo, it's on my brain. Like sometimes my brain, like it's so hard for me to shut off my brain sometimes, because I'm like, oh, like I didn't send this. Oh snap, summer's coming. I gotta go through my emails because I gotta sign them up on time for the program. Like, it's just that, like that sense of responsibility. You having to figure everything out. Being in Florida with my cousins who don't have kids, I was just like, I do so much. Like, you guys have a simple life. I was so jealous, like how clean their house was, how like they had to buy 1 egg, 1 piece of toast, like that sink was always clean. And I'm just like, I have my hands full. So just that, like that ease of just caring for yourself, like that's something that sometimes you do a great job managing everything, but there's times where, like, especially when your kids get sick, or you have a busy week at work, or if I get sick or my kids get sick, oh my God, it takes me like a month to recuperate. Like my household, like se vuelve un ocho, is just crazy. Like, things like that affect, like you just don't, like if there's a personal issue going on with you, if something is happening with family members, like all those things. And I feel like at different times in my life, like I struggle, like I'm like, oh, this is too much, I can't handle it. Like this one, let me get down. Bájate. My 4-year-old suffers from asthma, so when she starts getting asthma, like that throat, like eso me pone a me, like like anxious, stressed out. And then if she has like an attack, like it just throws off my balance, and then it just takes me time to get back like on my, like on my usual, like, okay, I got my shit together, like, but it doesn't last. Like things throw you off balance all the time, and you just have to figure out, like, I'm learning. It's crazy because I have 14-year-olds, but it's taken me this long to like be like, you don't have to get so overwhelmed, you don't have to get so stressed, like breathe, breathe. Like, okay, last year, like I was so like, I'm somebody that stresses things a lot, and I go over it in my head, like, and you get to a point, like, if you don't manage that, like, it's literally gonna take over you. So like I've learned to like just be like, let it go. I don't know, like some of you girls that have you on my Instagram, sometimes on my lunch break, if I'm like, you know what, on my lunch break, I'll be like, let me have a little martini, let me just chill, like, you just gotta find little things that are gonna keep you zen, you know what I'm saying? So little things like that. I try to book like my hair, like, I'm gonna say this, I have a flexible job, like, like, oh, I'm gonna leave work early. If I don't get my like personal, like my nails and my hair done, like either by leaving work early or during a lunch break, once I'm home, I can't, because I just have too much to do, checking homework, chores, making sure people are bathed, brush their teeth in bed. It's just a lot. It's a lot. So it's just that ease of, that's the biggest thing that I miss, is just caring for myself. Because it's hard, like, to fit in for yourself, but you have to do it. I've been feeling so much better. Like for like I want to say maybe 4 to 5 months, I've been like, getting my nails done regularly, my feet, eyelashes. Like, I'm like, you know what? These things make me feel good. They make me feel happy. So I've been trying to like stick to those things. Por lo menos, I deserve it. Because yo hago mucho. So that's just something I wanted to add.
Lena just wrote, in my next life, I want to be a man. It's so funny because there's so many of us that feel that exact same way. Like, and I don't know if it's the culture. I don't know what it is. I just feel like it's the reality, So sometimes it just feels like your book is not gonna shut off, because that happens to me all the time. Like, I'm constantly on my checklist in my mind like this. I could be driving and I'm like so zoned out, but I'm thinking about everything that I have to do for the week. Or, oh my God, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, like this, and then it's like, I'm David's personal assistant. So on top of everything else that I'm doing for my kids, he gives me a list of things, like, where's my keys? Do you know where my socks are? Shit like that he should already know. That's another topic for another day.
I can't wait till we have a Zoom dedicated to just that, because I have so much to say. Oh man.
But like, the list is on and on and on and on. And it just goes to show how important it is. How important it is for us to make self-care a priority. I don't know how. I don't know if you can hear my son in the background knocking on my door. I'm here.
He knocks on it. He's like, who is it? Like, nigga, it's you knocking.
Yeah, hold on. He's so funny. And then he's screaming over there like, oh, I need mommy. No, you don't. Go be with your dad. Anyway, I couldn't figure out what I was saying. My God. But yeah, as you can see, even when you're trying to do something for yourself, you're still going to be a mom. You still have to, like, there's times when I've gone to New York and Jesse's kids are older, and we're out having girl time and her kids are texting her. It's like, dude, I'm out having time for me. Leave me the hell alone. You know what I'm saying? But it's part of the job. You don't want it to be part of the job all the time, but that's how it is. I can't leave Elijah, God forbid, for 3 seconds with anyone, because as soon as I walk out the door, he's texting me because he needs something, or he needs to ask me something, or he needs to tell me. It's like, why? I
Yeah,
just want to do my.
Jillian just heard you and she's like, we text you when we need you. Seems like they need us at all fucking times.
Exactly. And it's like, we're telling you, we're going, like, if Jadira comes to my house and we're like, yo, we're gonna have a girls' day moment, at this precise moment, I swear to God, Maya and Elijah have to tell us a story. Something in school, something happened. And then this story takes 3 hours and we're just like, yo, like, you don't want to be mean, but it's just like, I really don't want to hear this right now.
Oh, now that you said that, I have one thing that I miss. Being able to have a conversation with your friends without being interrupted by your kids. Because you could be home the whole day without using the phone. And the minute you get a call, this is the moment where they want to talk to you about anything and everything that comes to their mind.
Oh, man. Exactly.
So
Yadira was here the other day and Maya decided to tell us a story about school. And I'm just like, Maya, no, I'm sorry, not today. We're not going to do this today. We're not. Because why is it every time that me and Jadi having a moment, you know, you have things you want to say, you want to vent, you want to talk, whatever. You just want to laugh and be around another adult. Oh, guess what? You know what happened in school? And we're just like, yeah, no, we don't care. But we're not going to tell them that. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, it doesn't end. The mother hat is always on. Sometimes, me personally, I wish I could take it off. I honestly, right at this moment, I don't want to be mom. I just want to be Nairis. Like, when I get off the Zoom, I want my kids in bed. I don't want to hear a child awake. I just want to, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, sometimes you got to deal with what you got to deal with, you know? Do you ever feel as if you're alone in this transition? And what I mean by that is, do you feel that society, family, your partner, friends, like, people don't understand, or it's hard for others to understand what it's like to go from being, I'm Nairis, but now I'm Nairis plus a mom, plus a wife, plus of this, plus of that, blah, blah, blah. Like, if you're in my house, we're not gonna just have a conversation. My kids are gonna interrupt me every 5 seconds. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes people that don't have kids, or people that have kids but that are older already, they don't understand that. They get frustrated. They can't understand, like, this is my life. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if you guys, if that has happened to you, or if you guys have another type of experience with anything else.
I mean, I feel it happens all the time, like, especially when you try to do something for yourself and you have small children or children in general. People are always judging. Like, let's say like what Donna did. She went on vacation, right, for a few days with her friends, with her cousins. I'm pretty sure probably people have something to say about it, because it's like, ay, pero tú te vas de vacaciones, pero ir tus hijos, ¿y con quién tú lo vas a dejar? Like, they have a dad. Like, I can't take a few days for myself and they can with their dad, and the dad can with everything the same way that I deal with everything on a daily basis. Or you want to go out with your friends and it's like, ay, pero a ti se te olvida que tus hijos tienen clase mañana, o que tú tienes un marido, okay, but who gives a fuck? But I have me, that I need this drink so I can release my freaking stress, so that I can be that person tomorrow morning that they need me to be. So I feel that it's, you know, it's a constant struggle. People always gonna have something to say, but you just gotta just say, fuck it. It's my sanity is worth more than what anyone, you know, has to say, or what people, and do what you gotta do, what works for you.
You guys feel like society supports the woman's transition?
No.
I feel like I keep having an issue with this whole superwoman terminology that they want to be throwing in our faces. Like, I don't want to be a superwoman. I don't, because what that
I
means
feel
is
they have very high expectations of us, and
that's
when
what
we
I'm
don't
saying.
meet those expectations, it's like it becomes a problem. It's like every
And
woman
also,
has to be a certain way.
They're expecting us to do it all effortlessly, impeccably, without complaining, without needing help, without asking for help, without expecting. And that to me is ridiculous. I don't want to be a superhero if that's what that comes with, you know, because I'm not a superhero. I need help. And I don't want, and even if I don't need help, I want you to help me. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we don't need the help, but we want it. Because why not? You know, so I keep seeing, like, you know, we all have seen it on social media, superwoman, mothers are superpowers and this and that. And it's just like, no. And society, I feel like the minute you find out you're having a baby, society is almost attacking you as a woman. Are you going to go back to work? If you do, you're a bad mother. Are you staying home? If you do, you're lazy. You know, like it's throwing you at all different places. Nobody's really in your corner. So once you have a child, you're expected to, for example, some of the things you hear is like, oh, but you wanted a child. Why are you complaining? Why are you unhappy if you wanted a family? You know, or you're home, you should be happy. You have it good. All you do is wow. Thank you, Zolani, for that.
Oh, I didn't even know it was unmuted. I'm sorry. I mean, I was gonna say something. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, another thing that like I've noticed as well is the stigma of like, one thing is that I struggle with is if I'm in a group of if I'm within a group of women and we're all having a conversation, right? For example, I'll use my friends. I have a lot of friends that are very successful, right? That, you know, have very great careers. So it's like, when I'm amongst them, I'm a stay-at-home mom. So it's like I almost feel like although they are moms, it's still something where I struggle to feel like we have something in common. Do you understand? Like, so it's like, is the stigma of because you're a stay-at-home mom and these are working moms. Now, stay-at-home moms belong in one genre, working moms are in another genre. You understand? And it's like, why does it need to be that? Why do I need to feel like I'm beneath you because I chose to stay home with my baby, whereas you chose to, you know, work. And not that I'm gonna be a stay-at-home mom forever, but you understand, like, it's just that stigma of like, oh no, you're not on the same level in a sense as a working mom.
Mm-hmm. But I think that again, that's society. Society has separated us instead of like joining us, because at the end of the day, we're moms. And I struggled with that for a long time. I used to feel like I was, it's almost like you undermine your motherhood title when you stay home, because you feel like, oh, that's all I am. That's how I felt for a very long time. That's all I am, just a mom, you know? And it wasn't until, I'm going to say maybe end of last year to now that I'm starting to feel like, you know what? I'm the shit. Like, I've done a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because not only are you a mother, but you're also a teacher, you're also a nurse, you're also a this, you're also a that. And if you're working, you're also working. You're also doing 1,000 things. That is not just that. So it's us. Like the quote that I said, our minds are the ones that are controlling our emotions, our feelings, to feel all these negative things about ourselves, right? So we're the ones that have to kind of like train ourselves and be able to stand up tall in front of a group of working moms and feel proud, because it's us. We're the ones that don't feel proud. We're the ones that feel kind of like ashamed or little, you know, because I've been in that place. You feel kind of small, like, well, I really don't have shit going on for myself, so I really am not even gonna talk right now. When in reality, we should say, well, I was a teacher today because my son couldn't do his homework and I had to help him. Or today I was a nurse. Or today I was this, or today I was that, you know, like we have to embrace ourselves in whatever chapter we are. At least, you know, for me, I've been a stay-at-home mom, but I'm also a realtor. I'm also a life insurance broker. I'm also a lot of other things. So it begins with us. So Jadi, for you, in those situations, and anybody else that's in those situations, if you're ever in a place, even if you have a position, a job that you're not happy with, don't undermine yourself. You have to be the one to feel like proud of where you're at the point in time in your life. Don't speak little on it, because we're the ones that are making it little, if you get what I'm trying to say. It's small because we make it small and we allow it to stay that small. What was the question? What else? What are some of the other things that you guys have heard in terms of society or families or whatever, when it comes to going from becoming a mom to how you used to be? Like I gave an example. What are some of the other things that you guys have heard, especially in society, because they're like the worst when it comes to moms?
What do you mean? Like as far as stigmas? Like a stigma?
Yes. Yes.
That
doesn't allow you
the snapback.
Exactly.
This whole
doesn't
you
allow
gotta
you-
snap back into how you used to look, whatever. I think we're frozen.
in X
Am I
amount of
frozen?
time.
No, she's frozen,
No,
right?
Nairis is frozen.
Oh, okay.
Everyone
okay.
else is still moving.
I can hear you guys. Oh my God. Hello?
Nighty, I think, did you hear? Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you guys. I can
Okay.
hear you guys.
You're
Okay.
not frozen anymore.
Okay, you're not frozen
my internet
anymore.
my internet is a little weak, but sorry, girls.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
No, I said a huge stigma is the snapback. You know, this whole you have to come, you know, snap back into your body that you had before, or if you don't lose the weight right away. And it's like, you know, one thing I realized, like with this pregnancy and like when me having Zolani, is that like honestly I really don't care. I don't follow a lot of the social media stigmas. I'm not really on social media like that, so I don't allow those kind of stigmas to like get into my head. So I feel like the whole snapping back, if I snap back to the body I feel comfortable in, you understand, whether it's people like it or not, if I feel comfortable in my skin and I feel comfortable in my body, my snapback game for me is great. You understand? Because I feel comfortable in my skin. I may not be the same size I was before, but I've learned to love myself the way that I am now. And that's something I feel that society does not allow mothers to do, because there's so, especially now with social media, we have so many women trying to be the Kim K's and the Kylie Jenners, and it's all this whole, oh, you have the perfect body and the perfect butt and the perfect waist, and it just doesn't allow you to really take that time to love yourself for who you are now after you've had your baby.
Mm-hmm. I think that society really screws with a mom's healing process. I feel like it's not something that is expected or attached to the word mother. It's almost like you become a mom and that's it. But people don't understand that I'm not just a mother. I'm also me, you know? And once you become a mom, it's hard to kind of like separate the mom title because of all the societal pressures, all the pressures of our cultures, our, you know, our families, sometimes significant others. It's hard to separate because you have so much expectations and you have so much things that are basically almost like a chain attached to you that you're dragging around. And I don't feel like society understands that as a woman, you have the right to not always want a mother, to not always want to feel like wearing that hat and not having to feel guilty about that feeling. So this is why for me, this topic is so important. This topic is so like major because I know that there's so many moms that feel the exact same way, but they won't express it because it's very, you know, unconventional, if you might say, you know. But again, the more we speak on it, the more we address it, the more we put it out there, the more we express it, I feel like the easier it's going to be for people to understand, you know, because even with my parents, that they're old school, I explain things to them like, listen, this is how it is. I don't know how it was for you, but this is what it is. Like, I'm not always going to be happy to be a mom because I want to be Nairis right at this exact moment, you know. And as long as we understand that, it's easier for our lives. It's easier for everyone else to kind of like get on board and understand what we feel. What is the hardest part of finding yourself? Okay.
I want
I'll
to say,
talk.
Where to even begin, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely, I feel like you don't ever get to that, not that you don't ever get to that point, but it's just, it's like a learning thing. It's like it's a growth thing. So it doesn't happen right away. It happens with time. And I feel like it's always gonna be never ending because you're always gonna feel like there's something else, you know? Like it's hard to explain, like, cause it never stops, I feel. You know, like it's continuous because even after your kids are grown, you know, most of us here have your kids, but even after they grow, like you still, you know, like worry, care, you know, try to look after, and then it's like you never stop. Once you become a mom, you never stop being a mom. So it's like everything else just, I guess you learn how to play with everything else and how everything else falls, and then you just, you know, you start to adjust to what life is based off of, you know, how old they are or what they're doing, and you know, like, so it's just it's a constant adjustment because the older they get, they're gonna be more involved in other things and other sports, which might take a lot more time away from your time because you have to devote to that, you know, like, so it's a constant adjustment. I think it's just never ending, you know?
Again, that's why I keep saying, once you become accepting of your reality, of what your life looks like let's say you take a step outside of your reality and you're looking in, Once you're accepting of that, it makes finding yourself or refinding yourself so much easier because you've accepted your reality. I think that the reason it becomes difficult is because we're not accepting of that. We're still trying to be what we were before. And trying to be what you were before may not fit with your reality, what your reality looks like now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that happened to me for so long, like I was saying, you know, whether your kids are small, whether your kids are big, you have to be okay with what your life looks like. Everybody's life, all of our lives looks different. All of our mothering looks different, but you have to accept it for what it is. Who was talking?
I was gonna say that, you know, sometimes I don't speak because like my kids are the ones that are bigger already. Like I have, Jaylee's gonna be 17 and Javian's gonna be 13. Like it does get easier. It's just a matter of like what you were just saying, accepting your role at the specific moment. Because like now that Jaylee's 17, like I don't really have to check any homeworks anymore, or you know, be like, Ben, siéntate aquí, let's read, or let's do this, right? That role is gone. But then I still have to be on top of her to make sure that she's still doing her work and she's keeping up her grades. With Javian, the same thing comes in. Like, you know, I don't really have to sit down with him. And then after this COVID thing, like, sorry, the school system has changed. So they're not really giving that much. Here, they don't give any homeworks. So that's like something that has become easier. But yeah, like you said, it's just a matter of accepting your role. Like I understand what Sabina says, you never stop being a mom. But there also comes a point where you have to, where you don't worry as much because you've already created this individual that you know that is capable of caring for themselves and doing a lot for themselves. So it eases the load on you. You know, not that you stop being a mom, because of course we always gonna be worried. Like now Jaylee's in a team and she's getting home later, and it's like it's a new adjustment for me because I'm like, shit is bad in New York. You know, I don't want her out there by herself so late. Like she had never, the first time she ever went to school by herself was in high school. And like now her getting home after 6, 7 p.m. It's a whole new adjustment that we're even talking about having her maybe quit because of the time she's getting home, which sucks for her because it's not fair. But then it's like, I'm not at ease with what's going on.
Right.
So, you know, so either way, you know, I agree with Sabina. Yes, you never stop mothering, but yes, the load does become a little easier once your kids get a little older. Because there's a lot of things off of your plate. Yeah.
It definitely gets easier. I think Karen wanted to speak. She wrote on here.
Yeah.
Karen, that was you, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, like, I know how you're saying, like, you have to accept to find yourself, but sometimes there are women, not me, but I've seen friends of mine who have become mothers, like, before they plan to, or with not as many kids as they wanted, whatever. And when they do find who they are, they can't accept it. Like I have a friend who straight up said, like, I wish I did not have kids. Having kids stalled my life in ways that I can never forget about myself, and like kind of resented herself for becoming a mom. So it's even harder, I think, for women like that, because now I don't like who I am, but I have to raise these children. So
and
it's
then that
like
creates a whole other set of problems.
A whole other set of problems that most women don't want to talk about it because they don't want to be as neglectful or bad moms, as you know, stigmas. But it's like I can't talk about it, and keeping it in makes it worse. So it's like a double-edged sword.
Yep. I mean, I guess, you know, again, every like I say, every situation is individualized. Every home is different. I don't like to compare my house, my family, my anything to anyone's, because my the way that my family works may not work for everybody else, you know? So I do what's best for me and my family. I do what's best, what makes sense for me, what's gonna make me happy. And it took me time to learn that, to be in the place that I am in now, which is a much healthier, much more accepting, much happier place with myself, because I've been able to let go of that thought, like, if I'm not who I used to be, I'm not me. Because that's what it comes attached with. I'm no longer me because I'm not that. And it's like, no, you're still you. You're just a different version of you, you know, at a different time, at a different chapter in your life. And with that, once you become accepting of that, there's so much things that come with it that you didn't expect, that are like great. But if you're not happy, you're not going to see it like that. You're going to see it as, oh my God, gotta take care of this kid. Oh my God, I gotta, you know. But that's, you know, that's a totally different.
One thing I would do say is, because I know, for, you know, for speaking from my experience, you know, because it's very different having a kid at 23 and having a kid at 34. You're in a different place. So it was easier. It was, I can say, I had a harder time transitioning, becoming a mother. Obviously you're young at 20, not that I was that young, but 23, you know, I was in a very difficult situation when I had my firstborn, you know, so I had to accept that reality. Then on top of that, I had to accept my new reality, which was being a single mom. On top of that, I had to accept the fact that I'm moving to a new state by a baby. So it's like, you have so many things that it kind of hinders your growth in a sense, right? So for me now, having Zolani at 34, I see it's not so much I miss who I used to be, nor am I struggling with who I am today. It's like the previous podcast we had before, I guess, is the balance and finding that balance and being content with who I am today, and being happy with where my life is today. Not that I struggle with it, but again, you always question, you know, you see certain things and you're like, is this the way that life is supposed to be, or is it not? So, you know, those are the kind of challenges that I feel like you deal with differently when you're older, when you become a mom older, than when you become a mom when you're younger. Like, as a younger parent, the stuff that I worry today, now I never even thought about. Not once did I think about investing, freaking buying property, starting a business. Not once did I think I needed to secure my daughter's future. But you talk to me about that now, and my mindset is completely different. So it's like, it is so different. It's difficult to say, in a sense, also, I would say.
Do you guys feel like part of the finding yourself journey affects your kids, your home, your significant other, do you feel like it affects it? Yes or no? Or maybe not.
I think it does.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I think it does, just because if not everyone is on the same page in your journey and your growth, and you're completely transparent with what you need, from what you want to eat, what you want to do,
I'm
whatever
not
you're
sure,
going through when it
Lisbeth, I
comes
think
to,
you're cutting off.
yeah,
Or is it
my
me?
connection. No, the connection is bad. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, no. Okay. So yeah, no, when it comes down to that, like, you find yourself having to like check in with yourself to see, excuse me, to see that you're not going crazy. Like, okay, I need to talk to my partner to let him know, he or them know what is it in order for them to make that shift with me, even though it's going to be difficult for them to understand like this new person, because it's a change for everybody. Like men shift, children change.
Hello?
She sounds. I don't even hear her. If there's
It's choppy. It's choppy.
Yeah.
and she froze.
Hello? Hello? Is it me or is it her connection?
It's her connection.
Okay. I think she's probably gonna log out and log back in. I think what she was trying to say was that when you, Lisbeth, if you can hear me, your connection is bad. You can't really hear what you're saying. Try logging on and logging off and logging back on. Okay. When you have a significant other, it obviously affects them because they can tell that you're different. You know, you're crankier, you're moody, it's different. You're different. And if you're not communicating this, if you're not expressing this, if you're not having a conversation, it's going to affect the whole home. It may not necessarily affect your kids in a sense that's really going to damage them, but if you're always moody, what kind of a mom are you being? You know what I'm saying? Like if you're going through whatever you're going through, your kids are receiving that energy. And obviously we all know that energy is transferable. Your kids can tell if you're upset, your partner can tell if you're upset. I think it's very important for us to, like I said before, it may not be, anyone in this chat, or it may not be your significant other, but you always have to have a person that you can express yourself with, that you can be 100% 100% transparent with. You may not feel 100% comfortable doing it in this group, and that's okay, but you have to have someone that you can be like, listen, this is how I feel, and I'm whatever, so that you can let it out. Because just accumulating all those feelings, allowing all those feelings to suck the life out of you, it's gonna affect you in a way that you're not even gonna be prepared to deal with or handle, because you don't know what kind of person you're gonna be. Me, for example, I've noticed, and I've come to the realization, if I go to sleep late and I don't have a certain amount of hours of sleep, I'm like the meanest person in the next day. I need to have a certain amount of sleep, and I can't, and there's no shutting off. Okay, pause, kids. No, I still gotta get up. I still gotta do stuff, but you're upset because you're tired. But it's not your kid's fault. You went to sleep late because you want to binge watch whatever, or whatever you're doing, so I've realized, like, if I don't get a certain amount of sleep, I cannot function at my best. And it's just not good for the household. I may do it from time to time, but it just doesn't make any sense for my home. So I think that communicating with whoever and being expressive, you may not be, in this group. When you come here, it's good for you to express yourself. As you can see, we're all very transparent. We may not all talk, but I know eventually we all will, and we all will feel comfortable with turning on the camera, even if you haven't combed your hair or you don't have makeup on. This is like a judgment-free place, and you guys will see that we all have a lot in common when it comes to mothering. And the sooner you find someone to be your venting person or venting place, whatever you want to call it, the better you're going to feel when it comes to finding yourself, because that's only going to help you in your journey to find yourself. At least I can speak from my experience. You know, I don't have all the answers. I don't know it all, but I feel like from my experience, being able to express all the things that I was going through, being able to talk about it, being able to not care what anybody thinks, says, or whatever, has helped me tremendously. You know what I'm saying? And I said it when I was 40 because I felt it in my soul. Like, I've become so unapologetically me that I really don't care what anybody has to say. Like, I will not allow anyone to come to my house to tell me how to be with my kids, how to be in my home, how to be with my husband, how to be me, because only I know that, you know? So once you know, accept that, that's gonna help you in your journey. If you get what I'm trying to say, because it all comes down to that. Whatever you feed your mind, if you feed your mind negativity, it's only going to give you negativity. If you speak highly of yourself, if you shower positive things about yourself to yourself, you're only going to think those things about yourself. My last question is, what are some of the things that you've done to feel better with yourself throughout your journey? Maybe you're not there yet. Maybe you're working towards it. But what are some of the things that you felt like are helping you in this journey to finding yourself again? Finding yourself and accepting yourself.
I actually started going to therapy last October, and I'm still doing it, and I feel like that has helped me a lot with coming to terms with a lot of things. I definitely feel better mentally than I did when I first started. So, and for a long time, I didn't want to accept that that's actually what I needed. But once I started to do it, and I started to notice that it improved my mood a little, then I continued, and I don't have any plans of stopping anytime soon. So that has helped me a lot with everything. Yeah.
That's awesome. Good for you. Very good. Lisbeth, you want to go back to your thoughts?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it took me like a good 5 minutes. Well, I was just saying that I think it's important for anyone in your household to kind of like let people say how they feel. For example, like even though my daughter Kai was 7 at the time when I had my second child, I was still very honest with her, even with things she may not understand, but she knew things were going to be different. She knew mommy was going to feel different, but we reminded her prior to having the baby, like, things are going to change. Mommy's going to be feeling like this. Obviously not in detail. Now she knows the level. I always want to be honest with her. But at that time, you put it in terms that it's going to be like, all right, I have to tread a different way, in her own little way, that was going to be understanding of mommy, but not for her to kind of like take it personal, which is hard for a kid to do. You know, she was only 7, but she's very smart. So she was able to capture bits and pieces of it. Same thing with your partner. I just feel like, I think it made our relationship stronger in a sense where he always knew the inner wirings of me, because he does study me. But when it came to this, it was a first, I'm like, this is what I'm thinking. It's scary, but you need to know. So he knew how to move and how to, what's the word, like how to take a step back. I'm like, I need to approach this way today because she said she's feeling like this, or I can't do X, Y, and Z today because this Beth can't handle that right now. Or if he would come from work and I'm like, King didn't take a nap, and he usually takes a nap, and I'm on edge now, and he'll just be like, okay. He'll be like, okay. I'm like, well, I need to go do something, you know? So Little things like that. And then, so answer the question, I don't know if anybody else has something to say, but the question that you just answered, which was like, what have we done better or that you're proud of? What was the question you just asked?
I said, what are some of the things you've done to feel better with yourself in your journey to finding yourself?
Just telling yourself you're doing enough. You're doing enough. And sometimes I don't tell myself like I'll do something great or accomplish something, and I won't let that settle and let it sit and enjoy it. And I'm like, wow, I really did a good job. Or I'm always looking for the next thing. I'm like, all right, I did this, what's next? And instead of like, that's cool, like I never thought I could do that or accomplish that or handle that. But just being enough in that moment, from the major milestone to something really small. And I have to stop. Like that's just the over ambitious self in me, which constantly needs to be fed for some reason. But which I will not apologize for either. But I just think
it's good.
You can still,
it's a good and a bad
have
thing.
That. Yeah, you could still have that, but you still have to be realistic and be like, all right, you did that, and applaud yourself. So
I completely agree with you, Lisbeth, as far as pretty much everything you said. For me, like right now I'm working at finding myself again, and just getting back to my routine and what works for me. Like one thing that I struggled with and still do is, as I don't know if you guys know, obviously most of you know, I'm a nail tech. That's what my focus is right now. It's what I'm working on, is to really get my nail business up and running and stuff like that. One thing I'm very hard on myself. My sister will tell you, I strive for perfection when it comes to doing nails. Although that's a good thing, it's also a bad thing, because no matter how nice the nails may look, to me, I see a flaw. And it's something like that and I see that even with accomplishments that I've done throughout life. And it's like I beat myself up harder than I should, because I need to give myself more credit. I've gone through a lot in my life, and more than a lot of people I know have gone through. And there's things that I know I'm capable of going through that I know some people aren't. And even though I know I've gone through that, I still beat myself up about it. So that's one thing I'm definitely, working on. Is like, one thing is, I'll do my sister's nails today, and you can ask her, and I'm like, all right, I don't know, I don't like him, or oh no, I should have done this, or whatever it is. And I'm working on embracing the beauty of what is right now, because at the end of the day, we're living in the moment. We don't know what tomorrow holds. The past has already passed, so right now is what matters. And we have to give ourselves more credit, and we need to show ourselves that no matter, it doesn't matter what other people think, what our opinion is what matters most. And that's what that's something that I feel like a lot of people need to work on, especially mothers, because we're very hard on ourselves.
I think that again, let's all thank society and our culture for creating that kind of like that box that we all fall into. Like Lisbeth is saying,
oppression.
Exactly. We're oppressed in a box. We're oppressed in this box, and it doesn't allow us to compliment ourselves, because if you do, oh, there she goes, being a show off, or being this or being that, so everything is looked at as negative. Whether when you're a mother, like I was saying before, when you're a stay-at-home mom, even if you're not a stay-at-home mom, when you're a mom, there's no one out there handing out, like when you do a good job at work, you get promoted, you get whatever. Nobody's giving us achievement awards for doing a great job at being a mother. Nobody's over here welcoming in the door like, yo, good job today, you rocked it, even though you feel like you did it. So that goes along with why we don't applaud ourselves, why we're so hard on ourselves, because we're always focused on the negative. because that's what's being fed to us on a day-to-day, the negative. Everything in social media is filtered. Everything. There's very seldom that you're gonna come across people being transparent or being real. Most of the time, a lot of things that you see is filtered. So you're measuring your success, your progress, your mothering, your womanhood, your everything to what we see. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't. We should measure it to what we did yesterday. Yesterday, I felt like crap. Today, I feel better and I accomplished 5 things out of the 20 in my list. Good job. And we don't do that on a day-to-day basis. I know I don't. I have days that I feel like crap and I don't applaud myself, but I'm trying to work on being happy with my day-to-day and being proud of myself. Like I started following this guy called Gary Vee. And the reason I like him is because he always says, if you have a goal, if you're starting a new business, if you're in a job that you're trying to accomplish a goal, whatever it is, it could be anything. Don't focus on the end result. Focus on the journey. Because the happiness is in the journey. If you're not enjoying the journey to getting to the goal, there's no point. Because once you get to the goal, it's going to feel more like a job than what that feeling that you want to feel. So I'm trying to adapt that to myself and enjoy my journey with everything that I do, whether it's Moment for Mom, whether it's whatever, anything that I'm putting in my life right now. And my advice to you guys is that enjoy the journey and whatever you're doing, whether it's being a mother, whether it's your job, whether it's your baby, some of us have our own babies, which for me is my Moment for Mom, Lisbeth is Kemami, this one is this one is that. All of us have something that we're focused on right now. Focus on the journey, focus on your reality and accepting this is what it is. And I'm proud of myself because I've gone from point A to point B. And if you actually think about it, what place were you at? If you measure last year to this year, you'll realize within yourself, like, I've actually gone places, or I've advanced, or I've succeeded, or I've accomplished. But you don't look at it because we're constantly focusing on the negative. Like the quote, the quote that I read in the beginning, which is why I read it, from Will. And he says, the question isn't, can you handle the situation? The question is, can you handle your mind? Can you manage the thoughts and the emotions that are trying to poison your progress? That's the question. These are the things that are going to affect us as humans, as women. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. And are going to help us through our journey to finding ourselves, accepting ourselves, and accepting the new chapter that we're in currently with our children and with ourselves.
Iris, one thing I do wanna mention. Sorry, my laptop is like muting me, unmuting me. One thing I want to mention is like chiming in on what you said. One thing I used to in a previous job, I remember my supervisor, I'm very over analytical, and he used to see I would get very flustered and overwhelmed. And he used to sit me down, he used to tell me, Yaya. That's what they call me. They used to call me that. Oh, he's like, can you control what's happening right now? Can you control how you feel right now? Right? He'll tell me, can you control the situation? Or can you control your emotion? Which one can you control, right? So I would tell him I can control how I feel right now. And he's like, so control what you can control, right? And in the beginning, I used to tell him like, why are you telling me that? I don't need to hear that. This is what's going on. And that goes, and I use that a lot in my reality today, because in the beginning of my postpartum, I was overwhelmed. I'm like, oh my God, okay, the baby needs to eat every hour, on the hour. If she doesn't eat at this time, she's gonna, you know, it was like I was this robot, and I felt like I needed to have things on a certain order, and things had to be a certain way. And I was just getting very flustered, very overwhelmed. And I had to kind of like stop myself in my tracks and like hear his voice again and tell myself, control what you can control. Right now, if the baby does, if she's still sleeping, it's okay if she's still sleeping. If Maya doesn't want to eat right now, let her eat when she wants to eat. If there's a load of laundry to be done, do it when you're able to do it. Don't let the unnecessary overcloud your judgment. Don't let the unnecessary kind of basically take control of what you're really trying to do, you know. So it's really good that you know, you're saying that, because at the end of the day, it's important for us to also understand that we need to be able to control what we can control and not get overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm. Well, with that being said, that was my last question. But before I go, last time I started with an affirmation, and I want to end my sessions with a daily affirmation, just to give you guys kind of like the positive vibes to go throughout the rest of your week, and to learn to love yourself, accept yourself exactly for who you are and how you are. So for today, I will succeed in all I desire and all I require. I will conquer my biggest goals and build myself into the best version of myself. I am confident in myself and my magic. I hope you girls take those words of affirmation and apply them to yourself, to your life, and really, truly, truly learn to speak positive things to yourself every day, because we're trained since little to speak negative and to think negative. And we have to kind of like reverse that. And it's so easy for us to do it with our kids, to talk positive to them and tell them positive things. But when it comes to us, it becomes a little bit difficult. So it's a task, but I feel like it's something that we should all practice on a daily, just speaking positive things to ourselves, so that our mind shifts and so that we can start seeing ourselves maybe how other people see you, that you may not see yourself in that light. So thank you for joining. Hi, Carlos. Thank you for tell Carlos I said hi. Thank you for joining, ladies. It was a great session. I appreciate you all. Huh?
He said, what's popping?
He went by mad fast. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you guys. Stay tuned for the next one, and have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye, ladies.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.